Well, good morning all. My name's Rachel Andrews. Welcome to Everyday Athlete. On this week's video, I couldn't help but stop en route to my swim just to show you the beautiful light. I'm not sure if you can spot the moon behind me, but I've got the sun rising on one side and the moon on the other, so I thought I'd stop and show you. This week's video is going to be about why we'd want to swim with a buddy. Apart from the social side of things, what makes it safer? I'm going to stop a couple of times along the way before I meet up with my buddy, and we'll have a little chat about those. Well, check this little bad boy out. What a phenomenal bobble hat. Thank you so much to the Wild Swimmers of Wenatchee who sent me this one and another one which you'll see in a later video. It is super duper warm and just what I need on a day where I've had to use a credit card to defrost my windscreen before I could get going. So on to the idea of wild swimming, outdoor swimming, open water swimming, the whole lot. Why do we do it? Because we like being out in nature, we maybe like the freedom and the fact that there isn't just somebody watching over you the whole time. But that can also be a bit of an issue. Whilst we enjoy the freedom of not being constrained to a particular area and maybe not having somebody watching it every move, that brings with it its own concerns. So before we get in and swim, we must take account of what's going on, because we're the ones that are going to have to save ourselves. Or in the case of the buddy, I guess you could be thinking, I'm a little bit worried about this, but I'm pretty sure my buddy's got it. Have you ever had that conversation with your buddy as to what's going to happen if something untoward happens? And let's have a think about that. It could be cold water shock if you're new to it, so where you get into the water and the sudden change in temperature on your skin causes that your blood pressure rises rapidly. Also the gasp reflex when you get in. So for those that are not used to it and haven't been in very often, those are two things to watch out for and why we'd want to stay within our depth. Other things that could happen in the water, I don't know, jellyfish sting, bumping your legs or feet on something under the water, maybe getting bumped into by, I don't know, it'd be pretty unusual, but maybe by someone on a different kind of craft, a kayak or maybe a surfboard if we're in a bit of chop or something, or just getting really tired, getting really cold. There's a number of things that could affect our ability to have a nice swim. Have you thought about what you're going to do if that happens? So off the top of your head, as a buddy yourself, what do you think you would do if your swim buddy became incapacitated and for some reason was unable to swim properly? Have you even thought about it? I guess off the top of my head, what you could do is you could reassure them. You could get them to hold on to their tow float, or if they haven't got one, you could offer yours. One thing to be careful about though is if somebody is panicking and is unable to swim properly, they're likely to be feeling very frightened and they could well try and grab hold of you as the next floating thing. Think when your pet dog swims along to you and wants to just climb all over you. So you've got to be wary of that and look after yourself. So offering your own tow float and keeping that between you and them. If your buddy does try to get hold of you, then a sharp splash of water to the face should bring them round, and then give them that tow float again. What we're trying to do is to calm them down, give them a chance to settle, you're helping them to float. If you don't have tow floats between you, then getting them to lie back and look up into the air, arms out, RNLI style, float to live. So we're there as a buddy for reassurance and to try to calm them down. It might be that it's more serious than that and you're going to need to help to get them to the side. So it could be that you're just coaching them along and you just take it much more slowly and get them in towards the side. If there's any tide running or any stream running, then don't try to go directly at the bank, because that will seem quite frightening, but just edging in that direction, and you might not end up where you wanted to, but you will get to the side. If your buddy isn't able to swim for themselves, then you're going to need to help them to move towards water where they can stand up. So offering them a tow float and towing them along using it. So I would probably, if it was mine, I would probably undo the waistband and hold on to the done up waistband and offer them my tow float to hold on to. And they could either hold on to it forwards, looking towards me, and then I can swim on my side, talking to them, reassuring them, or they could roll over onto their back and hug it, so they're being towed this way with the tow float going that way. We know that tow floats are not made as rescue aids, they're not built for that, and if you do end up having to use it in an emergency for that, then definitely fully check it over before you take it out again, because you're likely to put some strain on some of the fittings. But in an emergency, to get your buddy to the side, that can be a really useful tool. As a buddy, we're there not only to entertain and regale our other buddy with fun stories and what we've been up to in the past week, we're also there partly for their safety, as they are for us. Another really important thing to do is to make sure that you've got a telephone with you. What am I saying? A mobile phone. I'm just imagining something with a big long cord. No. Make sure that you've got a mobile phone with you in a waterproof case and that it's accessible. Don't bury it at the bottom of your tow float, because if you do need to use it in an emergency, then you don't want to be having to tip everything out and rustle around looking for it. You want to be onto it and using it immediately. It's all very well being able to call for assistance, but can you describe where you are? Do you know even the location that you're swimming at, or have you just got in the car with your buddy or followed your buddy in their car, parked up and gone for your swim? Could you accurately describe it? If you need to get help in the form of the Coast Guard or ambulance or something like that, could you describe where you are? Consider using the app What 3 Words, which divides the world up into grids and gives very accurate location information. Whilst I've been making this video, I've been thinking actually there's a few things I'd really like to start doing when I swim with a buddy, and that's things like making sure I know their emergency contact and that they know mine, so that if anything happens then we can get hold of each other's contact person and let them know. Also that we discuss how things have been, if we've got a medical condition that's going to affect our swimming, then having a chat about that beforehand. And also, if we haven't slept, if you've not felt particularly well, if you haven't had your breakfast, that sort of stuff is really important for the other person to know, because it could well affect your performance in the water. And by performance, I mean your ability to stay in, how you're swimming and all that, not your racing performance, although that might be a factor. It's really important though that no matter whether we're swimming alone or with somebody else, that we've thought about what we'll do in the event of an emergency and how we're going to get ourselves out of the problem that we're in, how we're going to make contact, so making sure that we've got a phone that is accessible. It needs to be the first thing you're going to get to should you need to use it. So overall, for a safe swim, I think what we need to do is make sure, first of all, that somebody knows where we are, how long we're going for and when we'll get out. Make sure you've left that information and that you tell them when you've got out. Check out the video I've made on that about the emergency contact, because there are some responsibilities that go with that which they may not have realised. Make sure you know exactly where you are, so if you need to call for help you can. Right, I'm off to meet my swim buddy. We'll have a little chat and then we're going for a lovely swim, I hope. And fingers crossed we might even see the seal. Have a great time. Make sure you're swimming safely. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Drop me a like, sending me a comment. I always answer them. And I'll see you next time. Bye.